Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Masoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Haute Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journey, encourage folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Hello and welcome to the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of food entrepreneurs. We're glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Haute Sauce.
And Sarah Masoni of Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center. Hi, Sarah Marshall.
Hey, Sarah Masoni. We both spent our weekends
at the fairgrounds.
But in separate places.
Yeah, I was down in LA at the LA County Fairplex, the 104th annual dairy judging.
Wow.
And I was on one of two groups that we judged about 75 ice creams.
That's so cool.
And then we had, I think, 4 or 5 tables judging cheese and other dairy products.
I was in Cheese World too. I was at the Oregon Cheese Fest. So lots of cheesemakers from Oregon and California came. They kind of meet in the middle in Medford. So we drove down to Medford for
I
the
heard
show.
this huge festival.
It's really big. Yeah, it happens at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. They also do a version in Portland. This is the second one. So they do one in Portland, one in Medford. So people can come from all over. So
it's a big fundraiser for the Guild, I think.
Yeah, it's for the Oregon Cheese Guild. Lots of really great cheeses to try. I think my top cheese I tried is a new one from Rogue Creamery, and that's why it happens in Medford, is because it used to originally be at Rogue. But they come and bring lots of cheese, and they made a new yuzu cheese that has like yuzu peels in it, and it was
lemony,
delicious.
For
Yeah.
people who don't know what yuzu is, it's from Japan.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting little citrusy, lemony, limey sort of yumminess.
Yeah, it was so good, and we had such a good time. It was fun to be around all these cool makers, and if anybody's interested in finding out more information, you can check out the Oregon Cheese Guild. They'll do another show here in Portland.
Actually, I thought of you when I was in California because some friends of ours took me to dinner at a place called Abuela's in Claremont, and guess what I had?
I don't know.
Birria tacos, just like we had in Vegas.
Yeah.
Every time I have them, like, ooh, I have to see if it's as good. These were as good.
Yeah, were they?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
They had the cheese and the meat. It was so good.
So fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad we're recording in person today. We're here at the Food Innovation Center. Sometimes we are not together, but today we are because we wanted to hang with our special guest. So today I'd like to introduce you to Yvonne Smoker. She's the industry liaison for food and beverage manufacturing at Prosper Portland. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Sarah and Sarah.
We're glad you're here today. We see you all the time. We know you all the time.
Everywhere.
But now we want to make sure everybody else knows you.
Oh, yes. Thanks. Appreciate it.
So the first thing we start out with is making sure people can connect to you on social media. So it can be Prosper Portland, it can be you, whatever you want. Where do people find you online?
On Instagram at Prosper Portland, also on LinkedIn at Prosper Portland.
Perfect.
I am on LinkedIn too. That's probably where I'm most present.
Great.
Yeah.
And we'll link all the things in the show notes so people can just easily click. You also have a newsletter, is that right?
I do, absolutely. Yes.
How do people sign up for it?
I wish it was super easy. Right now, I'm actually building a website, so soon it will be super easy. But right now, if you go to the prosperportland.us/food and bev, you can sign up at the bottom of the page. Yeah.
Perfect. And it's really beneficial to sign up for those newsletters so you can find out all the things that Prosper Portland's doing. Let's start at the beginning. That's what we usually like to do. So let's tell people about Prosper Portland.
Yes.
Goals, dreams, hopes, all those things.
Prosper Portland is the economic development agency for the city of Portland, which means a lot of things. But at the end of the day, we are here to help people in the city start a business, create jobs, and generational wealth. It was founded in 1958 through a city charter,
Whoa.
Portland Development Commission.
Wow.
So we've been around for a long time. We rebranded in 2017 as Prosper Portland to more align with our strategic plan that came out in 2015 around more equitable development and supporting the community and engaging more intentionally. So I came in March of 2017, and then May of 2017 they rebranded. So I knew PDC for 2 months, and then it was Prosper Portland. So it wasn't too much of a change for me, but I know a lot of people in the city of Portland who have been around a long time and know the work that Portland Development Commission did at the time, and then now Prosper Portland since 2017, trying to reinforce our mission of helping businesses. Our goal is helping businesses, and so that takes a form in many ways. At the end of the day, I say loans, grants, and technical assistance. And technical assistance, one of these loose terms that we at the government love to use, but essentially it's business support. And so the business support looks different. So if you are trying to find a new location for your manufacturing operations, we can help run a property search if you aren't working with a broker. And depending on where that location is within the city boundaries, we also have programs for tenant improvement grants. And then if you are in a stage of growth for your business, we also provide loans. Generally, it's gap financing. So if you have worked at your bank and they can't fund you for any reason, come talk to us. We want to help make your growth possible and your vision possible. So it's really connections too at the end of the day. So if people for some reason don't already know Sarah Masoni at the Food Innovation Center, then I make sure to connect them with her.
Hey, speaking of the Food Innovation Center, you just sponsored a class here, I think last week. Can you tell us what that was?
Absolutely. It was a product development class. And so it was taught by the wonderful food scientists here, Jason Ball and Jordan Bunting. Essentially, it's helping anyone that has a recipe for a product. Either they're just starting out or they're trying to refine it or get to know how to systematize their process. And so there were a range of folks in the class. It was super, super new, barely had a name and a concept for their business, or someone who wanted to try out a new recipe who's been around and doing it for a long time, many years. They just had a new recipe. They wanted to be able to talk to food scientists directly and ask them questions. So what was great about it was, you can hear the same thing a few times and it still doesn't get in. So I think there are a couple people that might have attended the last one and came back because they had a new question, right? So it's breaking down that barrier of cost for folks. So it was $10 for Portland-based companies to be able to have 3.5 hours with these amazing, smart scientists to talk about their product. And also, what's a spreadsheet? It has started as simple as you want to make sure that the measurements for your recipe are exact so that when you are ready to go to a contract manufacturer, you have everything already organized to pass it on to your co-man.
Now, I've noticed that you're attending those classes, Yvonne.
Yes.
So do you feel more confident now when you talk to food entrepreneurs? You feel like you can give them some advice?
Somewhat, but I would never do more than what Jason and Jordan do. I would always just say this is the basics of what you need. So just make sure you have these things in place, and anything past that, go talk to a professional. But yes, I try to learn the basics for people to be able to walk them through.
That's very nice.
Yeah, the fundamentals of doing business for sure.
Well, and that's such a good deal to be able to get that information and get that interaction with people from the Food Innovation Center since it's being sponsored by you guys. I'm sure it's so beneficial. If people want to sign up for the next one or be part of that, how would they go about doing that?
Reach out to me, Smoker Y at prosperportland.us. So it's last name, first initial, Smokery, if it'll help you remember, Smokery at prosperportland.us. We are constantly trying to figure out what's been effective. So the last one, we did one in the fall and we did one this spring. So the one in the fall was mostly Oregon people and I wanted mostly Portland people. So we made sure, okay, the discount's only for Portland people this time. So we want to make sure these Portland folks that are super brand new can not only learn about this resource here at Food Innovation Center, but also the resource that we have at the city so we can start them on the journey early. Okay, are you working with a business advisor? No? Okay, well, we have the Inclusive Business Resource Network where you can get plugged into a business advisor that walks you through your long-term business advising as well as helps you with your business plan. And there's so many organizations in our network at the Inclusive Business Resource Network that there are food-specific advisors who have come from opening their own business or have worked at this nonprofit for a long time. So our food-specific partners are Hacienda CDC and Built Oregon for those growth stage companies. In addition, we also have our Office of Small Business, which is place-based, and so it's the districts each have their own community liaisons, so they're over at our team, at the economic development team.
So, Yvonne, this is a lot of
It is a lot of information.
And you're talking really fast.
Sorry, I can't help it.
You're so excited.
I also just talk fast in general. So
I do have a question. Do you have on your website, are you going to have like a kind of a cheat sheet, step-by-step sort of pathway that people can follow?
So you know what? That actually already exists on the Office of Small Business website. If you go to, I think it's Portland's Office of Small Business. We have a few domains, but it's Office of Small Business for Portland. One of my colleagues, she did the great work of, if you are starting a food business, here are the list of resources. So there's not only the ODA roadmap, but here's like steps, right? So like ODA regs, here's their roadmap. And then, do you need a commercial kitchen? Here's kitchen door. Do you need to talk to liaison? Here's Yvonne. So she did that pre-work for me, which is really great.
That's amazing.
So that's for anyone that wants to start a small business. The Office of Small Business is that resource. And so when you get past that sort of initial conversation and you have a specific product that you're trying to get into retailers, or you need to make those connections to service providers, so that's where they would do the connection to me. And for me, it's literally whatever a business needs. When they say, like, what does your support look like? I'm like, well, what do you need right now? Like, what is your biggest hurdle? Tell me about your business. And so after one conversation, it's very easy to tell, okay, this person has been around for a while. They've been doing business and they just need that next influx of cash, or they need that next retailer. And so whatever a business needs is so varied depending on what stage they're at. And of course, I think the biggest response is money. Yes, you do need money. And past that, I think anybody who has that daring dream to have a product, to want to share it with their community and with the world, they need to be able to fund that dream. So I think a lot of folks, start with friends and family and then, go from there. And so for us, we also have partners that have these programs that get people ready to pitch to investors. And so we do have a network of folks that we partner with, because we're not here to replicate programs. We're here to
kind of connecting everyone.
Connect people, as well as if there's a gap in programming, like, can I fill in the gap? Great, let me do that. Like, if there's a subsector of the food community that want to connect, I want to be able to bring them together.
Now, in Portland, one of the things that you've done is you've helped people get their shelf life studies done, which is huge, because it's expensive.
It is indeed. And it's funny because Sarah is such a great resource. It was maybe a couple of years ago that I was like, hey, what is that service that is just cost prohibitive to most folks? And she's like, shelf life study. I'm like, great, let me implement a program. So it was a pilot program.
Was amazing.
That's cool.
It was a pilot program of like, okay, so let's figure out what's going to be impactful, but we're not going to cover the 100%. We want the business owners to still have stake in it, right? Because I think it does. It's a challenge we've already discovered in the last 9 years or so I've been here, that if you do offer things for free all the time, it devalues it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so for something that's investing in the success of your business, and for that next stage, if there is a retailer that's like, how long does this last? And you're like, I think maybe a couple of years. Like, you want to be definitive in your response. And so I think with the Food Innovation Center having over 25 years and doing the work, that if you say, oh, yeah, I've already gotten that tested at FIC, that, okay, yeah, you're like official, like, right? And we want people to be successful and, like, again, hit that next milestone. And so I think that was a successful program the first year. And so we wanted to continue it and also add to it, right? So part of that is hosting these workshops for food and beverage folks. And so product development was the one that came up. But if there's another service in the future that, hey, this is also what's missing right now. And so for us, it's very much, it's not just me, the agency, we pivot whenever we need to based on what's happening. So during the snowstorm a couple of years ago, we diverted funds from our repair and restore grant to specifically those who were impacted that week, because it's not just, okay, our window's broken. Well, yes, but past that, when you were closed for a week, how did that impact you? So how can we help you? And
Sarah Marshall, have you used any of the Prosper Portland things that they offer?
Well, I was just going to say, the thing that I notice is that you are connected to everybody. So I just kind of follow along with what, the emails that you put out, the things that I see Prosper Portland is doing. So I haven't received services from Prosper Portland, but I do a lot of Prosper Portland things. So I end up interacting with a lot of, And that's not really true because you guys sponsor Livelihood
Yeah.
Northwest.
We are a
And you
funder.
did that. You were
And
like Entrepreneur of the Year,
and
remember?
I do remember. Just in case anybody forgot, I was Entrepreneur of the Year.
Yeah, Yvonne and I were there celebrating
hooting
with
and hollering.
you.
You guys were there yelling for me. Thank you very much. But you do. I have received services from Livelihood Northwest. That's who my mentor is through. So technically, I have received Prosper Portland.
We are also hosting our first ever product fair, and I mean,
I'm going to be part of that.
Yes, we haven't released all the names of the companies.
When is that?
It's a private event specifically curating an experience for buyers. And so it's a combination of our retail buyers and corporate buyers because it's a partnership with our other program, Portland Means Progress. And with that, it's a lot of folks who are wanting to diversify their supply. So supplier diversity, intentional purchasing, that's a part of Portland Means Progress. And so the members of that initiative are invited to come. So anybody who's a corporate buyer, so like OHSU might have a corporate buyer, or name your corporate entity that buys coffee or snacks for their office. And so we want them to think more locally with that and not just go to Costco and buy things, right? Like you can have your coffee and your, popcorn or whatever from a local company. And so we wanted to make it invite only so that it's everybody you talk to is someone that can purchase from you on a scale that's larger, right? And we are not prohibiting them from selling, either sampling. And if you have the capability to sell and you want to sell and there's someone that's buying for their company and wants to buy it personally, absolutely. And much like most trade shows, those relationships might take time to cultivate, right? So it's not just you meet someone and they're going to lock in a contract. It's like every trade show. So we want people to be prepared too. So leading up to it, we have our partners at Built are hosting a retail readiness sort of if this is your first trade show, then you get to figure out the things you need. Like you want your sell sheets, you want your business cards, you want your exhibit to stand out, right? So it's the first year we're doing this. We're hoping that's successful. In the past years, we've done catering fairs, and that was one thing that businesses had asked for. So we very much want to support not only our sort of like larger business corporate stakeholders, but also our small business food and beverage producers. And so it's the first year to sort of, again, do an invite only, so it's not public. We don't want it to be like you're having to just, give out samples to everyone that comes in the building. Like it's very much, okay, the person you're talking to is someone that is responsible for purchasing at their company, either on an annual level or, spring, whatever it is. We want to be able to.
And so your buyers are all from Portland?
It's a mix. It's probably mostly, I think, right now. But again, I think for us thinking larger, we could, in the future, look at our Washington partners to do across the state lines. There's a lot happening, actually, in the next couple of weeks as far as trade shows and partnering with Oregon Department of Ag, actually, on a couple of these opportunities for business owners and buyers to connect.
So are you going to tell people what they are? What the opportunities are?
Oh. They're happening, so the applications have all closed.
They've all closed.
Correct. But I think a lot of programs are in their pilot year. So if it's successful, then we can bring it on a larger scale, again, in collaboration, right? Because I'm one person on my in my agency of less than 100. So we each do so much in our one role. And I also support tech and media, by the way. And so with that, it's leveraging our partners either at FIC, Oregon Department of Ag, or Business Oregon to see could we partner on a larger event. So this is a Portland event, so most of my contacts are Portland.
Nice.
Well, and for people that are listening, since it is Prosper Portland, to receive services or to apply for things or to be part of the newsletter or anything, do you have to live in Portland?
So you have to have a business address / headquartered in Portland as the business, because you could live outside of the city. That's where your house is. But your business, your incorporation, your registration, you pay taxes in the city. So because we are funded by city tax dollars, we do have to prioritize those who are paying into that, right?
So like Portland registered zip code businesses.
Yes. Portland Maps will tell you whether your business is in the city of Portland. Yeah. So anybody who wants to go to Livelihood through our funding has to be a City of Portland based business.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want you to talk about your favorite things about Portland businesses. So we'll be right back.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together. So we're back. Okay, Yvonne, everybody hates this question. Do you have a favorite business that you've helped in Portland?
You can't ask that. It's like,
That's why people hate
I
that
want to hear what you say.
favorite.
What's your answer to that?
I
Probably
think,
ask you all the time.
I think my favorite part of my job
Okay, good.
is being able to see the support come out in real life, right? So if a business is growing and they're expanding their manufacturing capabilities, we are also the Portland team behind the Enterprise Zone, which is a state program, 5-year, soon to be 10-year tax abatement. So it's for new construction and personal property purchases. So it's a complicated program that we have a manager dedicated to supporting, but that's like one of the tools that we have. So between like tenant improvement grants or tax abatement, we only have a few tools in our arsenal. So with those tools, if we know that a business is expanding, we want to be able to get in early, right? So a lot of times you have to file an application before you can start construction. And so with that, it's very much, with the hundreds / thousands of business owners in Portland that I either met or connected with, getting them at the right time. So it's a matter of, if a website exists that has all the programs, stay tuned. And if you are on my email list, if we have social media channels, if I talk to people at an event or if I attend an event. So it's getting the message out to as many companies as possible so that we can shepherd them through that process, right? So for example, there was a food manufacturer expanding their manufacturing capabilities. And so they were buying all this new equipment and they were doing construction and like tearing down walls and putting up walls. And so I'm like, oh, have you taken advantage of or have you heard of the Enterprise Zone? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, let me get you connected right away. Because if you're spending this much money, you should at least get a little bit of tax abatement from it. So they are now an Enterprise Zone company. And then there were like physical improvements that were eligible for the Prosperity Investment Program grants. I'm like, okay, apply for that too. There's also the Building Energy Efficient grant. So like there's all these tools that we have either in partnership with our city bureaus or that we are implementing ourselves. And so if we can get them early, then see all of the sort of support in incremental ways, because we're here to sort of inject an inflection of cash or be a catalyst for that next step of your business. We're not here with you every day to help you run your business, but we want to provide you with the tools to be successful in that. And so those are my favorite projects when we like the timing all works out that like, because I'm only one person trying to talk to so many people, because there are times that people say like, oh, I just did this. I'm like, oh, darn it. If only I was here like 6 months ago. And yet if we timed it perfectly where, there's another project where 2 founders are co-locating and they are one of the first companies to take advantage of the Affordable Commercial Tenant Program in the food and beverage industry. So that was one that was like very cool that like not only did we connect at the right time, but they also were familiar with our programs and me. And so they just said, this is what we're trying to pursue. And so construction's moving along. We also, if you're permitting too, obviously it's one of the biggest headaches a lot of people have in this city. Yeah. We have contacts with our bureau partners in permitting. So if we know a project's being delayed for one reason or another, we'll say like, contact our person, or we'll connect with our person and say like, do you know about this permit at this address? Can you help push it along? And say just, click some buttons or send some emails, and then it gets pushed forward. So we try to hit as many people as possible. And like, if we are able to walk through a project from beginning to end, it's almost as if we were there while it was being constructed, right? Like much like you see a construction project, you're like, oh, you saw it when it was rubble on the ground, and then you see it up, and it's just like the best thing. And so that is the best part of the job.
Well, the thing that I notice about what you do is that you are very excited about all the companies that you work with, and you have this big heart and you want to help them, and you know everybody. So you can connect all these different people. And because Prosper Portland does support all these different, programs that exist, you can really connect everybody to those different things. And so, and I see it happening all the time. And I can't recommend more for people to get involved and get connected, because everybody from the Food Innovation Center to livelihood to knowing about grants and permitting is like, we know just from doing the permitting of our kitchen, I didn't personally have to do it, but our contractor did, and it was a nightmare. And so if we would have been connected then, it would have been much easier. So I just, I appreciate all of the wonderful things that you are doing. I think it's so great, and I think people should be connected if they can be. I know you didn't name any specific businesses yet, and you don't have to. We're not telling you to say a favorite. But if you do want to talk about some of the businesses that are involved in Prosper Portland, and we are going to have a bunch of Prosper Portland clients on the show. We're going to do a Prosper Portland series. But if you want to just talk about some of the people around town that you want people to be excited about and look up and support, this would be a good time to do that.
Fantastic. Well, I don't want to be spoiling the guests that are coming up, but
it doesn't have to be the guests that are going to be on the show. It can just be anybody you want to talk about, and you could talk about some of the connection to Prosper Portland if you want.
Well, I guess I can bring up one specifically just because I think they're part of our marketing materials, and so they will know that their face will be out there. So Olympia Provisions has been a long time, like I think maybe 2011. They were an enterprise-owned company back then, and so they've been involved in our programming for a long time, and they've also figured out, that each new phase of construction is an extension of your tax abatement. So there are ways to utilize most effectively some of these programs. And so Michelle and Elias have been very great partners, and their story is our first enterprise zone case study of how the support has impacted their business and how many years they've been involved in it. And they were lovely enough to let us tour the facility and take photos and tell their story. And so that's just been such a long-term relationship that preceded my time there even. And so there are so many great Portland brands that have been founded here and have grown here and scaled here, and we had just a small part, right? So we never say we did that. No, it's more like we got to be a small sliver of a portion of their story because we want to invest in companies in Portland, and that is one of those Portland founded brands that's so ubiquitous and so known and have such a great quality product that's one that I'm proud to say, yes, we've had a long-standing relationship, and they were kind enough to allow us to tell their story. So it definitely is and even this podcast, it's you're already creating this great community and telling these stories. And the Sarahs, two of my favorite Sarahs with an H, my sister's name is also Sarah with an H. And then us coming in to be able to highlight, spotlight, and point to Portland companies that we've worked with and have impacted us at the same time we've impacted them, right? So we want to be able to tell the stories of not only their success in the city, but how we had a small part in that, right? Because it is hard to see when people say, what is economic development, or what do you even do? Mm-hmm. I had a friend actually say, I can tell what your husband does. He does carpentry, general contracting. That's easy to explain. I couldn't tell someone what you did because as I'm telling him about my week of, I'm going to go to a podcast recording, and I'm going to shoot a video for a business, or so every week is different. Every day is different. And that's part of the fun, but it's also part of the vastness of support, because when someone says, how do you support a company? It's well, what do you need right now? Right. And if a company can't take advantage, if you directly, Sarah Marshall's I haven't engaged in this program, but because you are still tied into our community and our network, you are taking advantage. And that is one of those silent behind the scenes partner work that we do, right? So while we fund Accelerate Women, OEN, Livelihood, Hacienda, MISO, all these organizations that have been around in Portland for a long time, we're just in the background funders. You don't necessarily know that this is a program of Prosper Portland. So this is probably part of our marketing campaign of saying, we are here, this is what we do. I am one piece of that gigantic puzzle of what economic development is. It's just, supporting a business who then supports their family, who then supports that community in that city, in that state, right? So it's microeconomics, I guess.
Well, wonderful. And that's the thing. I mean, I didn't even know that Prosper Portland funded Livelihood Northwest until my advisor told me. And then I was like, why don't they tell everybody that? Yeah. And then when I notice you at all these different things that I'm attending, just because I want, to be part of the maker community, I think, I bet Prosper Portland is funding this, And so I just think it's good to let people know that you're part of all these different networks, and that Prosper Portland is here to support them, and that's where their funding is coming from, because it's like important for all of them to exist, and they wouldn't necessarily exist without that funding. Yeah. And then all of those programs can individually help these makers.
And that's why Yvonne has to talk really fast.
I know she's got so much. That was the other question I was going to ask you is, are you always working? Because I see you at events.
Every single event I go to, there's
night. You're at everything all the time.
I don't get much sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't either. I mean, I'm at the same thing, so I figure. But it, for me, it's like, my business. For you, it seems like you're working your job all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if there's like a market on the weekend, I choose to go. I don't have to go. Yeah. I choose to spend my money. I choose to buy all the snacks and all the coffee because, and like, it's funny because there's coffee companies that'll do subscription services. I'm like, I would because I love your coffee, but I want to be able to buy different bags from different roasters from around the city. So it's the discovery of something delicious. I think we all love, obviously, but I think I jokingly tell people like my job is delicious because I do get to work with and be introduced to a lot of really great brands. Prosper Portland is the economic and urban development agency for the city of Portland. We focus on building an equitable economy by carrying out a comprehensive range of economic development programs that support small business, improve access to workforce training, and create jobs for Portland residents. Food and beverage manufacturing is a fast-growing industry that demonstrates strong, inclusive growth potential in Portland. It encompasses everything from entrepreneurs just starting out to established companies with international distribution. Prosper Portland works collaboratively with local companies and institutions to help grow priority industries like food and beverage manufacturing. This support takes the form of business retention, expansion, and recruitment visits, industry-specific programming, networking events, business-specific support, and access to capital. To learn how Prosper Portland can help your business, contact Yvonne Smoker, the Food and Beverage Manufacturing Industry Liaison, for more information, and visit prosperportland.us.
Prosper Portland does things that aren't just food related, right?
Correct.
Your wheelhouse is just the food and beverage manufacturing.
Yeah, so my team is the business advancement team. I am one of 4 industry liaisons. And so athletic and outdoor, metals, machinery, and clean tech. And then I cover food and beverage and tech and media. So there's 5 sectors of business that we support in the city because they're the high wage, high growth, and they're really what Portland's known for. And so my colleagues on the business advancement team, what I do for my companies, they do similarly for theirs, right? So they convene, they host events, and they sponsor partners that put on events and work with our state partners on, again, these larger things that will impact the industry as a whole. So business advancement team within economic development, and then we also have development investment team. So we've got a lot of folks in the agency, but like our team specifically, our job is industry liaison. So like for that industry, what does a company need? If you're based in the city of Portland, great, we've got these funding tools. And if you're not, let's join the conversation on a larger level. So for food and bev, it's very much how do we keep manufacturing in Oregon? So it's not just looking at the city of Portland anymore, because if someone's manufacturing at Beaverton Foods, great, you're staying in the state. Don't go anywhere. And so looking at it at a larger scale is what we have to do when you talk about trying to keep manufacturing local, close by.
Got a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you fall in love with Portland?
It's funny because this year will be the 10th year that, August of 2016 we moved here, so it'll be 10 years. I think we're very spoiled in the city. You go to any restaurant, anywhere, you stick your finger on a map and be like, I'm going to go there. It will be delicious. And that is, and then I think anybody who moves from out of state, I'm from Austin, Texas originally, being able to drive an hour and a half to get to the mountains, the beach, forest, and then a few more hours for the desert is unfathomable to a Texan because like you have to drive 12 hours to clear the state. So I've never been to the national park there because it is a 10-hour drive from where I'm from. So I think between the food and nature, that's the 2 biggest reasons why people love Portland and stay here. I think the speed at which 10 years has passed by has been because the people are so great and so warm, and like my job has been so easy easy in the sense of like the people I work with are also very heart forward, and the companies I engage with, people I engage with that are founders are very heart forward. So we are all empathic people, and we can relate and get along and help each other in a very natural and organic way. And I think that's what's made me be at this agency for so long, and like it doesn't necessarily feel like a job sometimes when I do get to go and see the Sarahs out in community. I also just love saying the Sarahs because you're a team. So I think it is just the same answer a lot of out-of-towners give, but I think the reason you stay is because of community.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I love about Portland too. We have such a great community, especially our food community, restaurant community.
Yeah.
We all like interact really well and support each other, and it's so fun.
I think about 25 years ago and how kind of sleepy it was and how it's become really dynamic. I can't keep track of everything anymore.
Yeah.
And I really reflect back on that. I did kind of know everything that was going on in the past, but I really don't. I really appreciate all of the new people that are doing all the wonderful things here in the food community.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was one of the first observations I had was that the food and beverage people are so collaborative here, right? Like while you do compete with the next person for shelf space, you're better together, you're stronger together. It's like, okay, well, let's go together on this packaging material so I'm not paying, a bunch per unit. So, and not just that, but creatively, right? I think as a consumer, I love to see collaborations between brands, right? Like these partnerships that like extend past one flavor, right? Because you love working with these people and using their ingredients.
Yeah, I think even just knowing what each other's journeys are like. We spent all weekend with David from Hab Sauce because we are instantly friends because we live a very similar life. We have all the same decisions to make. We have all the same people we're selling to and working with. And so you just like understand each other right away. And so it bonds you really quickly, where I don't know if it's always like that with other things. Like if you just work in an office together, it's a little different because those decisions that you're making aren't like impacting your family and your livelihood. And, so it just like, you become buddies pretty quick. And that's how I see Portland, like the food scene. We're all like, we all care about each other and we want each other to survive because that's the other thing about when I think about the things that Prosper Portland provides and think about like Olympia Provisions existing for so long, you need somebody to kind of have your back to have your business last for a long time because running a business is very hard.
It is hard.
And it's hard for people to stay open. And just even when we see businesses closing down and losing funding, I always think, oh, I wish there was something we could have done to help or we could have been connected, earlier or something like that. And so I think that's the thing. We like all want each other to survive so bad. And there's a lot of services out there that can maybe help. So if you need some services, you might be able to find some through Prosper Portland. So check out the website.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people think about the Food Innovation Center as like, a hub for things, but there's like other things out there.
Yep. We focus on food science and there's lots of people working on business here in the Portland community.
Yeah. And we're neighbors. We're down the street from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final things you want to tell people? Ways to receive information from Prosper Portland, ways to get connected? How can we bring people to you?
prosperportland.us. And we host a lot of events. And so we also have an office of events and film. So if you want to host an event and you need help with permitting, we've got people for that. So basically anything you do in the city, if you have a question, we're here to help, especially if you have a business. And if you don't have a business, how can we help you start one?
Perfect. Well, I'm super excited about this series. We're going to interview lots of people who have worked with Prosper Portland, who have received services from Prosper Portland. We're going to be doing that for the next few shows. So thanks for sponsoring our podcast and thanks for connecting us with people who have received services so we can talk about more of those things. Thank you for listening to the Meaningful Marketplace podcast. Before you go, you can show some love for your favorite podcast by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. You can follow us on Instagram or YouTube at Meaningful Marketplace Podcast. You can call or text Sarah and I with questions at 503-395-8858. We couldn't do this without our fantastic team at Joy of Creation Production House. Thanks to Haley, our audio engineer, and today's producer, Dirk Marshall. We will be back next week, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye for now.
If you love the stories we bring you each week, please consider supporting us on Patreon. As an independent media company, your support is absolutely essential. It allows us to continue creating high-quality professional episodes that amplify the voices of women, small business owners, writers, artists, and creatives, and keep their stories free from commercial pressure. By becoming a Patreon member, you're not just supporting us, you're investing in the future of independent media. Please visit patreon.com/The Joy of Creation Production House to join our community today. Thank you for listening and supporting our podcast dreams.